Here's some celebrity meltdowns that happened in public and got them cancelled. Lindsay Lohan. She had everything going for her as a child star, but her transition from a freckled-faced Disney kid to full-blown adult was difficult to say the least. A DUI arrest that happened in May of 2007 was the beginning of the end for the celeb, as what followed immediately after was a string of more misdemeanors and missed court dates. Lohan's public meltdowns caused her to get less and less movie roles, and between car accidents, accusations of theft, multiple stays in rehab, and even a brief time in jail, she remained the paparazzi's top target and the public's biggest fascination at the time. She has very recently had the comeback of the century, so kudos to her, and here's hoping it sticks. Amanda Bynes, as the star of her own Nickelodeon show and her roles in countless teen comedies, she was seen as the bubbly girl next door and a promising actress on her rise to superstardom. However, in March of 2012, she had some very public meltdowns as she got a DUI and was also charged with possession of illicit substances. Now, her personal appearance also drastically started changing, and rumors were fueled that she had undergone botched plastic surgery. If that wasn't enough, her social media presence also became increasingly bizarre. On Twitter, she said some very vulgar things about Drake, and in May of 2013, she was seen throwing a glass smoking device out of the 36th floor window of her New York apartment. She was then hospitalized in a mental health facility and then later released into the care of her parents, who were granted conservatorship over her affairs. Britney Spears, this teen pop star who got her first kick on the Mickey Mouse Club along fellow stars like Justin Timberlake and Ryan Gosling, was arguably the biggest superstar in the world in the late 90s and early 2000s. But by 2004, when she married twice in a 9-month span, first to friend Jason Alexander and next to her backup dancer Kevin Federline, that was the start of the fall. As she started her family, Spears was hounded by paparazzi and accused of everything from negligent parenting to substance dependency issues, and a day after walking out of rehab, she experienced a very public meltdown as we watched her shave her head bald in 2007 and attack paparazzi with an umbrella. The courts then placed Britney under the conservatorship of her father, Jamie Spears, and it wasn't until just a couple years ago that she was released from it after the whole Free Britney movement. Although her recent behavior online suggests to many that that may have been a mistake to have her released. Demi Lovato. From the beginning, Demi was a little edgy for the Disney Channel that employed her, but they made it work. After co-starring in the camp rock movies with the Jonas Brothers and releasing 2 solo albums, rumors quickly began to surface of her using illegal substances and getting in fights with people on set. In October of 2010, Demi reportedly punched a backup dancer while on tour and withdrew tour dates to go into treatment for substance use. Now, she did re-emerge alongside Britney Spears as a judge on the show X Factor, but that was short-lived as she had allegedly relapsed shortly after that, and finally did an MTV documentary-style interview where she actually spoke openly and quite frankly about her issues and continuing recovery journey. Throwing up in public is embarrassing for all of us, but doing it in front of thousands of fans, that is, well, thousands of times worse. In September 2012, during the opening night of his Believe tour in Glendale, Arizona, Justin Bieber was performing Out of Town Girl when he abruptly turned away from the audience and vomited on stage. He briefly exited, but soon returned to continue the show. What a trooper, right? But then, during his song Beauty and a Beat, he upchucked all over the stage again. Yikes. Bieber apologized to the crowd, claiming he was sick from drinking too much milk before the concert and asked the fans if they still love him despite him throwing up on stage. Of course, they all screamed, which clearly indicated that they would and do still love him. Jennifer Lawrence. Winning an Oscar is supposed to be a very glamorous moment, unless, of course, you wipe out on your way to accept it. That is what happened to Jennifer Lawrence at the 2013 Academy Awards when she tripped and fell to her knees while walking up the stairs to accept her Best Actress Oscar for Silver Linings Playbook. Upon finally reaching the podium, the crowd gave her a standing ovation, and she joked, saying, "You guys are just standing because you feel bad that I fell. And that's really embarrassing, but thank you. Not gonna lie, it was really embarrassing." But the fall and her good-natured way of handling the awkward moment led to people actually applauding her as refreshingly, kind of relatable. Honestly, winning an Oscar can be more cringy or embarrassing, as you will actually see next. That brings me to Adrian Brody. Brody. Winning an Oscar is supposed to help your career, not make people think badly of you. Unfortunately for Adrian Brody, that's exactly what happened. When his name was called as the winner of this year's Best Actor Oscar for his role in The Brutalist, Brody stood, pulled out his gum, and tossed it toward his partner Georgina Chapman before proceeding to go to the stage. Then, upon actually reaching the podium, he embarked on an unfocused and unextraordinary acceptance speech that would set a new record for its length, nearly 6 minutes long. Even when the orchestra mercifully attempted to play him off, Brody persisted, requesting the music be stopped. He even remarked saying, "I've done this before, thank you, it is not my first rodeo." He previously actually won for The Pianist. Now, falling on the way to the stage doesn't actually seem so bad now, does it? Steve Harvey is up. The 2015 Miss Universe contest, where at the dramatic conclusion, host Steve Harvey declared Miss Columbia as the new Miss Universe. The crowd actually erupted in cheers. Miss Columbia beamed with excitement, and she was even crowned and handed flowers. But moments later, a visibly uncomfortable Steve Harvey returned and awkwardly admitted, saying, "I have to apologize. The first runner-up is Columbia. Miss Universe 2015 is actually Miss Philippines." Gas basically filled the room as pageant officials removed the crown from Miss Columbia's head and placed it on Miss Philippines. Harvey later said, "You know, I took my stupid behind back out there. I should have let them announce it the next day in the newspaper. I wouldn't have caught none of the crap I caught." I mean, Steve, it was your mistake, so admitting it was the right move. And you know, what century are you living in where the newspaper would announce it the next morning? It would have been all over social media in like an hour or less later. Madison Pruitt is next. This one may escape you, as she's not your typical celebrity, but if you're a Batch fan like me, you'll know her and likely know of this super cringe moment in time she wishes no one would see or remember. So in 2020, Madison Pruitt, a contestant on the show The Bachelor, appeared to leave a fawning comment on one of her own Instagram posts, writing, "Beautiful date, Maddie, you are so genuine and so real." It seemed that she intended to post the compliment from a fake fan account, but forgot to switch accounts. Fans on Reddit roasted her, saying, "Nothing says genuine and real like having a fake Instagram account to comment compliments on your public one." And another person wrote, "OMFG, commenting without switching to a fan account of yourself is embarrassing enough, but commenting that you're so genuine and real is sending me. What a nightmare combination of cringe." Pruitt later claimed that it was a friend's comment mistakenly posted from her account. Sure, Maddie, sure. David Hasselhoff does not want you to see this leaked footage of him. In 2007, a video surfaced showing a drunk and shirtless David Hasselhoff struggling to eat a hamburger while lying on the floor. It turned out that Baywatch star's daughter, Taylor Ann, had made the video to show her dad, severity of his drinking problem. However, it was leaked to the public. While it was not a fun experience for the Hoff, he later said the video played a very pivotal role in his recovery journey and acknowledged that the public's, exposure served as a wake-up call. In a statement at the time, he said, "For me, it was actually a good sign because it was a wake-up call and it brought everything to a head. Finally, I just said, look, this has all got to stop." Hasselhoff's battles with alcohol go back at least to 2002 when he first entered rehab. He had a DWI in 2004, and he said his concern was mainly for his daughters. He actually briefly lost visitation rights right after that video surfaced, but he has since had them restored. Now, as of 2025, reports indicate that Hasselhoff remains committed to his sobriety. Aaron Carter. If you know the Backstreet Boys, you'll know the late Aaron Carter. BSB's fan base was so popular that anyone associated with them would be able to easily gain that notoriety as well. Well, Nick Carter's younger brother Aaron was able to start and boost his career to platinum heights at such a young age. Aaron quickly became involved in a media frenzy when he was caught up in a love triangle with Lindsay Lohan and Hilary Duff. Now, as he became older, things started to take a turn and we started to see him spiral. He actually was arrested and charged with a DUI in 2017, and by 2019 his overall health was at a low, and his brother Aaron actually obtained a temporary restraining order against Aaron because he allegedly made threats to him. The most public meltdown, though, was when he actually appeared on the daytime show The Doctors and revealed that he had been diagnosed with multiple personality disorder, schizophrenia, acute anxiety, and manic depression. He had a child in 2021, and sadly 1 year later, on November 5th, 2022, he passed away at the age of 34, so rest in peace. Selena Gomez, the Wizards of Waverly Place and Disney starlet turned singer/superstar, has been famous and in the headlines for one reason or the other in the past 2 decades, but she started to rebel in her own ways the older she got, and it seems to have started, after she starred in the 2013 film Spring Breakers, because by 2014, she canceled tours and was checked into an Arizona rehab facility for 2 weeks. Fast forward to just recently in January of 2025, Selena had a seemingly public meltdown as she faced backlash for sobbing over ICE arrests in 2 now deleted videos. Now, upon receiving a ton of backlash and deleting the post, she then shared a follow-up post on her Instagram where she wrote, "Apparently, it's not okay to show empathy for people." However, she deleted that post also. Most of the fans' reactions were of the consensus that Selena crying on film was not going to help any family affected, and were upset that she waited until it was too late to show empathy. Charlie Sheen. In a rather strange interview with ABC in February of 2011, the actor blasted 2.5 Men creator Chuck Lorre and proclaimed he was not bipolar but bi-winning. He also called Lorre a turd and a clown. During this interview, Charlie Sheen explains that he has tiger blood, and when she asked, the last time he used, he said, I use a blender, I use a vacuum cleaner, but ultimately said he can't remember the last time he used illegal substances. Now, from beginning to end, Sheen seems to celebrate his obvious meltdown, leading many to fear for his physical and psychological health. Despite the controversy surrounding the interview, it gained him further popularity. It gained him further popularity and actually gave the show he once was on the highest rating of the night. Chris Brown. In 2011, his Good Morning America appearance began with a smile, but he ultimately left angry and shirtless. The interview itself is very brief, with Robin Roberts focusing mostly on Brown's past and public image rather than his new album. Now on camera, Brown stays focused and even performs a song. Backstage, however, things went sour when Roberts began the conversation by asking about Rihanna. This interview came 2 years after pleading guilty to charges, and Chris Brown was clearly not pleased that his past kept being brought up. Brown didn't appreciate Robin Roberts crying about his situation with Rihanna and all of the hate that he got for it, so he had a very public meltdown. Brown stormed backstage after the interview, ripped his shirt off, and smashed a window with a chair, causing it to shatter and the shards of glass to fall on the sidewalk outside. Security was reportedly called to the scene immediately, but by the time they arrived, a very shirtless Brown was just headed out the door. Alec Baldwin. While a very popular actor, Alec Baldwin's temper has repeatedly gotten him into a lot of trouble. Back in 2007, Baldwin left a very nasty voicemail for his 11-year-old daughter, Ireland, calling her a thoughtless little pig. The incident was, acted upon a family judge who prevented Baldwin from contacting Ireland. Now, 4 years later, Baldwin got kicked off an American Airlines flight for being violent and belligerent. He had reportedly been asked to put his phone away, resulting in a public meltdown that saw him banging on walls, throwing papers on the ground, and screaming at the stewardess. Now, the incident was later parodied by Baldwin himself on Saturday Night Live. At least he has some self-awareness. Christian Bale. It's clear that this Oscar-winning actor takes his job very seriously, and it resulted in a meltdown for the ages. Bale was filming Terminator Salvation and was deeply angered by the on-set actions of cinematographer Shane Hurlbut. Bale stopped performing and screamed at him in a very lengthy tirade. Bale's flurry of profanity would make Tony Montana proud. At one point, it even sounds like Bale is restrained to keep things from getting physical. Now, this legendary meltdown was captured on audio only, sadly, and discreetly released to the public, where it became a pop culture sensation. Bale later apologized for the rant and said that he had made up with Halbert. Heather Morris. Sometimes people can mean well, but still seriously embarrass themselves. Take Glee star Heather Morris, who in June of 2023 posted an interpretive dance tribute to George Floyd on social media. Yes, you heard that right, an interpretive dance tribute to George Floyd. And honestly, it sounds like something her Glee character Brittany Pierce would have done. Now, in the video, Morris performed in a very emotional dance set to spoken word audio addressing racial injustice. Now, while intended as a heartfelt tribute, many viewers found the performance insensitive and self-indulgent, criticizing Morris for making the tragedy about herself. One person wrote on Twitter, "This girl had not even one friend to tell her this was stupid." Heather Morris doing an interpretive dance to represent George Floyd's passing, "I really thought I'd seen it all." Another person on X wrote, "I genuinely want to know what possessed Heather Morris to do this. Honestly, there's no doubt she wishes this one would have stayed in drafts, as we all wish too. I'm still mind blown." She posted it thinking, wow, yes, this is great. Next up, we have Kristen Stewart. This was a huge scandal back then, as Kristen was dating Robert Pattinson, her Twilight co-star, and he was one of the most sought after men in Hollywood at the time. So in 2012, footage of Kristen kissing her Snow White and the Huntsman director went viral on the internet. He was married to model Liberty Ross at the time, who filed for divorce shortly after the affair came to light. Stewart received massive backlash for her act. She faced massive public scrutiny, and during one of the confessions, Kristen actually mentioned that she had no reason behind cheating on Robert. She was going through a very, self-destructive phase in her life when her affair with Rupert began. Rupert would go on the record as well and say that it was just a momentary lapse, and said, "You never know what's coming in life. Around every corner there's something unexpected, and that's life." The Twilight lovebirds actually did give it another chance to love when they reconciled in October of that year, but things didn't work out as they finally ended their long-term relationship in May of 2013. Last but not least, Fergie is up. Fergie, known for her work with the Black Eyed Peas, of course, performed a very slowed down, jazzy version of the Star Spangled Banner at the NBA All-Star Game. Now, the performance was met with a huge mix of confusion and amusement, with many finding it out of place and even in an inappropriate, sensual tone. The performance became a viral sensation, with social media users sharing memes and jokes about Fergie's rendition. Now, in response to the backlash, Fergie issued an apology, stating that she wanted to try something special for the NBA, but that her rendition clearly didn't strike the intended tone. Some speculated that Fergie was attempting to emulate Marvin Gaye's iconic 1983 All-Star Game performance, which was also a unique and bluesy rendition of the anthem. Golden State Warriors star Draymond Green was actually seen on camera cracking a smile during the performance, further fueling the social media buzz. Now, Charles Barkley joked that he needed a cigarette after Fergie's performance during the halftime show. Beyonce made many headlines after she performed at the Super Bowl halftime show. After the show, the singer's team were very unhappy with some of the images of her looking animated on stage. One of her publicists emailed the site BuzzFeed to ask them to take them down, but the site actually refused. The email read, "There are some unflattering photos on your current feed that we are respectfully asking you to change and take down." BuzzFeed reacted actually by writing an article that read, "The unflattering photos Beyonce's publicist doesn't want you to see." When Beyonce performed during the halftime of 2013 Super Bowl, there was nothing in the world being talked about more. In fact, it was tweeted about more than the game itself, and one of the biggest reasons for the big fuss was the long-awaited reunion of Beyonce with her former Destiny's Child bandmates Kelly Rowland and Michelle Williams, who popped out on stage during the show to the elation of R&B fans everywhere. Despite Beyonce desperately wanting all of these, quote-unquote unflattering photos to be taken down, they never were, and it only drew more attention to them, with them being shared virtually everywhere. I mean, she can't catch a break, even to this day. I mean, just look at me digging them up all over again. You're welcome. Next up, we have Angelina Jolie and her brother. Sometimes celebrities have a strangely close bond with their siblings. Look at the Kardashians, the Hemsworths, the Olsen twins, or even the Jonas Brothers, stuck to each other like glue. But some stars have really gone that extra mile to show off their kinship, such as Angelina Jolie and her brother James Haven, who shared a very bizarre kiss on the red carpet at the 2000 Academy Awards. Back in 2000, after Angelina Jolie won her first Oscar, she and her brother James sparked a lot of controversy with a kiss, which Jolie later clarified was just an expression of brotherly love, and dismissed any other, rumors of anything else. Haven also clarified that the kiss was just a simple and lovely gesture, but the media made it into a very big thing. It became a hot topic, of course, and after some time, Jolie tried to get all of us to forget, but we didn't. No, we certainly did not. Next on my list is Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian has been the center of many Photoshop fails, but fans noticed how the wall was bending weirdly in one of her pictures. With this particular picture, Khloe had to take to social media to state that she actually wasn't the one who posted that picture and covered it up by saying it was her glam team who had posted it. Khloe kept digging a hole for herself by continuously denying her posting the picture and stating, "I never even posted this photo. Maybe my glam did, but I didn't. Also, I mean, ... the bent lines in the back, LOL, please." Fans were not having this. You know, they were saying, "Khloe, there are pictures of it literally on your feed. This level of lying and gaslighting is insane. Wow." That actually leads me to her sister, Kim Kardashian. Candid photos are some of the Kardashians' favorite pictures to post on their social media because they are in the moment. And sometimes paparazzi get good angles of them, you know, that they love. Kim Kardashian has always been known to post paparazzi photos on her Instagram, and this wasn't any different. But fans noticed how the car in the back was very photoshopped. She received so much backlash that Kim had to post a statement on her social media saying, "I'm seeing online and on news media outlets that I suffered a Photoshop fail. So ridiculous. I reposted a picture on Instagram that a fan had already posted. I only added a little filter to it. It looks like the fan mirrored the photo, which is why the car looks like that. So this is actually hilarious to me. Who would even Photoshop a car to look like that? LOL. Sure, Kim, I guess we'll believe you. Sure." Axl Rose is next. In 2016, GNR singer Axl Rose demanded that an image he claimed was released without his consent or approval be removed from the internet by Google. The image in question was taken of the Star's frontman, you know, at a 2010 concert in Canada, actually, by Boris Minkovic and published in the Winnipeg Free Press. Now, the photo was quickly stolen from the newspaper's website and used to make memes mocking Rose's weight. Rose then hired Web Sheriff to get the photo taken offline. The reason he wanted it down so bad is because it started trending as people were making fat Axl memes and sharing them everywhere on social media. It does sound like bullying to me, but one person posted one caption that said, "Remember the 80s? He ate them." Please don't hate me for finding that one funny. Admit it, you laughed a little, didn't you? Torrent Freak reported at the time that a notice was sent to some sites that hosted the photo reading "Copyright image of Axl Rose. Please be advised that no permission has been granted to publish the copyright image, so we cannot direct you to an authorized example of it." It never got taken down. Jennifer Aniston does not want you to see these photos or videos of her smoking a cigarette on her birthday. Despite her very good girl image, Jennifer Aniston has a long history of smoking, which she has said she since quit. But in 2022, the actress and wellness advocate was pictured lighting up a bogey amid her birthday celebrations. Her ex-husband, Justin Theroux, posted a video of the actor lighting a cigarette before it was quickly deleted off his Instagram story. Aniston has admitted that she was a chain smoker for years, very early on in her career, regularly making her way through a pack of cigarettes a day, like one pack a day. But in 2007, 3 years after finishing her hit show Friends, she decided to quit, saying the habit was affecting her health, energy, and even her relationships. Well, the lie detector determined that was a lie. As much as we know she'd love us to forget and wishes we never saw it, well, I'm sorry, Jen. Once on the web, forever in the cloud. Kris Jenner isn't immune to this list at all. As the matriarch, you know, of the Kardashian-Jenner empire, Kris Jenner needs to be smart about what she posts on social media because she represents her daughters as well. Kris posted a picture of herself and Chef Gordon Ramsay to show he supported her cookbook. Now, this would have been a great picture, but it became overlooked heavily by the amount of filters used on the image. In the photo, Kris looks very smooth on her face, but Gordon Ramsay seems very different. It was noticeable to fans because Ramsay posted the unedited picture on his own social media platform. So this was a classic case of like, as long as I look good, I don't really care how you be looking type of vibe. I mean, I'm guilty because I've done that, but I'm not Kris Jenner and I can get away with it. I'll admit, as someone who, you know, kind of cares how I look in pictures, not so much in videos, clearly, but it was not her finest moment. This pic that Gordon shared, yeah, it wasn't that flattering, so I see why she'd want to give it the old edits and glitz and glam to it. But to be fair, they both looked fine. It was not that bad, never that serious where she had to do all that. She should have maybe just made it a bit more subtle. Kate Middleton is next. Yes, the Princess of Wales herself. Do not come for me. I love the royal family, okay? But they are not exempt. The Princess of Wales raised eyebrows after uploading an image sitting alongside her and Prince William's 3 children. Hours after the pic was shared online, several international news agencies reportedly refused to share the upload, claiming the source had manipulated the image. Kate addressed the controversy and admitted to tweaking the Mother's Day snapshot. Now, an X post, formerly known as Twitter, shared through the official Prince and Princess of Wales account said, "Like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing. I wanted to express my apologies for any confusion the family photograph, that we shared yesterday caused. I hope everyone celebrating has a happy Mother's Day." It was innocent, harmless, and we have forgiven her. Paula Abdul is up. The Straight Up performer shared a seemingly edited picture of herself and Kathy Hilton, who is Paris Hilton's mom, at the Bravo Stars holiday party back in December of 2022. Abdul's new look confused fans as they took to the comment section to say she did not resemble her natural self. One of her followers commented on Instagram saying, "This looks like a completely different person." Another person wrote, "Wow, I don't understand this. Everyone knows what you actually look like. The amount of editing here is embarrassingly obvious." And a third person said, "Holy," words I can't say in this video, "she looks like a kid." Several social media users even went as far as to joke that Abdul in the photos was an imposter, and people asking, "Where's Paula? What have you done with her?" Some people even think she may have been hacked. Abdul never actually addressed it, but she did remove the photos, which basically, speaks for itself. And last up, I have Gigi Hadid. Now, a March 2017 Vogue issue celebrating fashion's fearless female showed Gigi, reaching across Kendall Jenner to rest her hand on Ashley Graham. Now, not only do people wonder whether or not Graham's curves have been slimmed down for the cover shoot, which is problematic, but many were skeptical about the Photoshop wizardry that elongated her arm basically an extra few inches. Now, the way it's placed, this hand looks like it belongs to Gigi Hadid, but it's just so long. If it is meant to be Gigi's hand, that means Gigi's arm is incredibly long enough to hold on to both Kendall and Ashley. Or perhaps it's been, just photoshopped, which feels like the more likely option. I mean, I think we would all have noticed if Gigi's arm had been dragging on the floor this entire time. It's possible that the mystery hand is actually Ashley's on her own waist, creating the illusion of a super long Gigi arm. But if that's the case, where is Gigi's hand? Is she able to bend her wrist at a sharp 90-degree angle? Vogue nor Gigi ever responded to the controversy about this, and we might never know, but you decide for yourself like I did, and I'm sticking with that it is a Photoshop fail.